Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something really crucial. We are demystifying a key piece of the SASB standard for electric utilities and power generators. Specifically, we're looking at metric IFEU 320A.1. We're going to dig right into the data and figure out exactly how the electric utility industry tracks, calculates, and reports on workforce safety.
Okay, let's dive into this. Think of this agenda as our syllabus for today, to break this down step by step. We'll start with the Utility Safety Challenge, move on to defining the Big Three, then look at the Universal Safety Formula, break down direct vs. contract workers, and wrap up with why these numbers matter.
Section 1. The Utility Safety Challenge. So, I want you to think about this for a second. How do we actually measure safety in a high-voltage world? It's a fascinating challenge, right? How exactly does an inherently dangerous industry take something as invaluable and honestly unquantifiable as human life and convert it into standard, reportable data?
Well, to understand the metrics, we really have to first zoom out and understand the environment. The electric utility industry is uniquely hazardous. We're not talking about paper cuts in an office block here. Utility employees face extreme daily hazards. Think about working for extended periods at great heights, operating massive heavy machinery, and facing literal high electrocution risks. Plus, all of this happens under massive public and regulatory scrutiny because, well, electricity is a basic necessity of modern life. Because the stakes are literally life and death, this industry absolutely requires a robust, highly standardized safety culture to protect its workers.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds, defining the Big Three.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing exactly where these requirements live within the framework. If you look at the Workforce Health and Safety row from the official SASB standard document, you'll spot code IFEU 320A.1. This standard specifically dictates that utilities must report on three very distinct safety rates. So let's zoom in and break down exactly what each of those three rates is actually measuring.
First up of the Big Three is TRIR, or the Total Recordable Incident Rate. This one tracks work-related injuries and illnesses. But pay attention to the threshold here. It has to result in death, days away from work, restricted work, medical treatment beyond first aid, or a loss of consciousness. It's totally crucial to clearly separate a true recordable incident from someone, just grabbing a bandage for a minor scrape. The standard also makes it clear that any significant injury or illness diagnosed by a licensed healthcare professional automatically counts as a recordable incident, even if it didn't result in any time off.
Now, the second metric is the fatality rate, tracking work-related fatalities resulting from events or exposures in the work environment. And it is incredibly important to be precise about what constitutes the work environment here. According to the source material, this isn't just the physical plant or the home office. No, the work environment includes the equipment and materials used by the employee, and importantly, it even includes incidents that happen while an employee is traveling, as long as they were engaged in work activities in the interest of their employer at that time.
The third metric is NMFR, which stands for Near-Miss Frequency Rate. This is defined as an unplanned or uncontrolled event that didn't result in a recordable injury or physical damage, but absolutely had the potential to do so in slightly different circumstances. Now, tracking these almosts is just as critical as tracking the actual injuries. Why? Because near misses are your early warning system. Tracking them, and more importantly, acting on them, is absolutely essential for preventing future, potentially fatal accidents.
Section 3. The Universal Safety Formula. Let's look at the math. 200,000. That's a constant number that appears in the formula for all three of our metrics. But what does this specific, deconstructed number actually have to do with human safety? And this brilliantly illustrates how it works. 200,000 isn't just arbitrary math. It represents a very specific baseline. 100 full-time employees working 40 hours a week for 50 weeks a year. By standardizing the formula against this 200,000-hour baseline, the SASB standard basically levels the playing field. It allows us to compare the safety performance of a massive multinational utility side by side with a small regional power generator totally fairly.
Okay, so how do we put it all together? It's really simple. Here are the exact steps. Step 1. Count your specific statistic for the year, whether that's the number of recordable incidents, the fatalities, or the near misses. Step 2. Take that count and multiply it by our baseline constant of 200,000. Step 3. Divide that result by the total number of hours actually worked by all employees in that same year. And there you go. That formula gives you your TIR, your fatality rate, or your NMFR. It is a highly effective, universal equation that makes technical compliance reporting incredibly easy to grasp and apply.
Moving on to Section 4, direct versus contract workers.
Now, the SASB standard explicitly requires utilities to disclose these rates for both direct employees and contract employees. Direct employees are exactly what they sound like, individuals directly on the entity's payroll. That includes everyone from full-time executives to part-time or seasonal hourly workers. Contract employees, on the other hand, are individuals not on the payroll, but who the utility supervises or manages, like independent contractors or folks brought in from a temp agency. So if you're calculating this for your site, remember, under these standards, a near miss for your contractor is just as important and just as reportable as one for your direct hire. Because, let's face it, safety doesn't distinguish by tax form.
Finally, Section 5, why these numbers matter.
So, the crucial point is that these are not just sterile numbers sitting on an ESG report to make a board of directors happy. Not at all. Measuring these metrics allows an organization to actively ensure adequate working conditions for the folks out there dealing with high-voltage lines every single day. Having strong safety records upholds positive views from regulators and helps manage the massive financial risk of regulatory penalties. Plus, a safe work environment simply maintains strong operational productivity. These metrics really are the absolute foundation of a true culture of safety.
Which leaves us with this final, really important question to consider. How is your organization utilizing its safety data to prevent the next incident before it ever happens? Gathering the data using the TIR, fatality, and near-miss frequency rates, well, that's just step one. The real work is applying that standardized framework to guarantee everyone makes it home safely at the end of the day. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.